Welcome to the second annual Day of Remembrance, honoring and remembering those we have lost due to complications of the inflammatory myopathies, myositis. This event is sponsored by Corbus Pharmaceuticals, Orphazyme, CSI Pharmacy, and Diplomat Specialty Infusion Group. We appreciate their support. We light this virtual candle as a representation of hope for the future in memory of those who died fighting the inflammatory myopathies, what we call myositis, and for those that are currently fighting for their life right now. We would like to begin with a moment of silence. If you pray or meditate, we ask that you do so now, in memory of those families that have lost someone and for those currently fighting, followed by a reading.
To Those I Love by Isla Pascal Richardson. If I should ever leave you whom I love, to go along the silent way, grieve not, nor speak of me with tears, but laugh and talk of me as if I were beside you there. I'd come, could I but find a way. But would not tears and grief be barriers? And when you hear a song, or see a bird I loved, please do not let the thought of me be sad, for I am loving you just as I always have. You were so good to me. There are so many things I wanted still to do, so many things to say to you. Remember that I did not fear. It was just leaving you that was so hard to face. We cannot see beyond, but this I know. I love you so. 'Twas heaven here with you.
We join together today in memory of our family members and friends to honor and to remember those we have lost. In doing so, it is also a call to action, to iterate the urgent need for safe, effective, and accessible therapies, the importance of patients getting involved in clinical trials and research projects, the opportunities for sharing data with industry and research collaborations, and to increase education, outreach, awareness, and funding. We mourn the loss of each patient, many of whom we have had the privilege to meet in our support groups or at a myositis conference. At MSU, Myositis Support and Understanding Association, we provide many support options for patients, caregivers, family members, and friends, and support is how we got started. Through our support groups and our live online support sessions, we get the opportunity to meet many new people from various walks of life with at least one thing in common: myositis. And when we lose someone to this disease, as patients, it becomes very personal, especially for those recently diagnosed and who have not yet had the opportunity to see other patients that have been living with myositis for decades. And on this end, as volunteers at MSU, we often feel a sense of helplessness. That helplessness feeling turns into a deeper passion and a stronger determination to continue working diligently for the myositis community. MSU is an all-volunteer managed nonprofit organization empowering the myositis community. All of our volunteers and board members are either myositis patients, caregivers, or a family member of a patient. Thus, everyone has a personal connection to myositis that adds value to their contributions and to the decisions they make on our behalf. Francis, Danny, began having symptoms in May 2018, diagnosed in August, and was not able to battle his dermatomyositis anymore after October 20th, 2018, at the age of 41 years old. His family, friends, and 2 children miss him very much, but will always love him. We will remember his smile and sense of humor, his determination, tenacity, and profound love for his daughter and son. We are still grieving his loss, but are also thankful for the time we had him, for the fond memories we will always have. Siempre te amaremos, Danny. Tony Nistico. Tony lost his 3-year battle with polymyositis on Thanksgiving Day 2018. He is missed and always loved by his wife, 3 kids, and many family and friends. We always called him our Superman due to his strength and bravery during his time fighting polymyositis.
Tatiana Walker. On October 19th, 2018, we suddenly lost a precious member of our myositis community, Tatiana Walker. Tatiana had been stoically battling multiple serious health complications for several months. Whenever she could, she updated our groups on her current health status with an apology for being out of touch, which isn't surprising knowing the person she was. A kind, generous soul who always had something positive and bright to share with anyone who needed to be lifted up. So many of us were touched and blessed by this sweet young woman. Her loss is so incredibly sad, particularly because of how young she was. But my hope is we can all think of her with a smile as well and carry on a legacy for her. One of kindness and positivity for all as we fight on together. May is Myositis Awareness Month, and we want to introduce our brand new website where patient and caregiver experiences get the attention they deserve and can truly make a difference.
The myositis patient and caregiver experiences encompass not only interactions with the healthcare side of living with this rare disease, but also incorporates everyday living. Disease flares, adapting to muscle weakness, trial and error treatment approach, dealing with chronic pain and life-altering fatigue, and learning ways to manage swallowing difficulties, lung disease, and itchy to painful skin rashes. Aside from the physical challenges, living with myositis affects the financial, emotional, and spiritual lives of patients. It also affects relationships and sexuality.
One challenge in myositis research is getting people interested. Awareness is a path to potential research, and by providing a platform for patients and caregivers to share what their myositis life is like, is a powerful way MSU can help.
These experiences with myositis may be able to help influence medical students to specialize in myositis, or researchers in pharmaceutical companies to learn more about initiating myositis research and clinical trials. Myositis Life also helps patients convey to people around them the day-to-day hurdles they cross to maintain their relative health and why it is often important to them to keep a positive attitude, as well as why community and family support is crucial to their treatment plan and success. We encourage patients to be their own best advocates at every level of healthcare, from ER visits to dealing with insurance company appeals. We invite you to share your Myositis Life experiences at myositislife.org. Mark Fetters. Mark's daughter says, "My dad spent his life serving the people of this country. He retired from the FBI just a few short years before his diagnosis of clinical amyopathic dermatomyositis. In his retirement, he worked for the Maryland Natural Resource Police. He loved to be outdoors and on the water. His plan was to buy a sailboat and sail it down to the Keys once he fully retired, which would have been a few months after he passed. He started to notice the symptoms on his hands first. This was in January. He was misdiagnosed. They gave him hand cream. He was so tired all the time, so he went to the doctor again. They told him he had mono. Once the interstitial lung disease had a hold and he went into the ICU, it was too late. They finally figured it out, but the medicines didn't work. He passed in September 2016 at age 63. Charlie Mae Jones, dermatomyositis. Charlie's family says, "The most loving daughter, wife, mom, and grandmother. The disease cruelly took her way too quickly, as there was no diagnosis for 3 months due to being so rare. Praying that research and education can inform the medical field so this will not occur in the future."
Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sun on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die.
Gerald A. J. Inclusion body myositis. Jerry had a passion for sports, music, and journalism. He loved his family. We miss him dearly every day. Inclusion body myositis stole so many years from his life. He would be proud of all of the awareness it has garnered. Rest in peace. Richard M. Gilligan, inclusion body myositis. His daughter tells us he lived a very full life in spite of his sporadic inclusion body myositis. He lost his sight at age 68, did not walk after age 75, but lived every day to the fullest, passing at age 83. In loving memory of Robert Bob Landman, who passed away from complications of dermatomyositis. Bob's family has turned their personal loss into a mission to raise money for MSU's patient-centered programs and to make others aware of this rare, complicated autoimmune disease that is often misdiagnosed, and in Bob's case was several times. On May 19, 2019, just a few days ago, Gladys, Lauren, Chad, and Janet Landman held the first ever Myositis Empower Walk in Las Vegas in honor of their beloved husband and father, Bob. Lynn Wilson, the vice president of MSU, was able to be there to spend time with Bob's family and friends and to speak to them about MSU, myositis, and how their generous gift of time and resources in creating, organizing, publicizing, and participating in the Myositis Empower Walk will make a huge difference for other families dealing with the same circumstances, while making a huge impact for patients in the myositis community. In addition to the money raised by the Landmans during the first annual MSU Empower Walk, money that will provide financial relief to patients so they can focus their time and money on their health, 2 individuals with different forms of myositis were able to connect with Lynn to receive more resources, information, and support. That is truly a success. When asked why she feels it is important to better awareness, Lauren Landman says, "The answer to that is quite simple. It's because my family and I lost our dad to dermatomyositis. The severe physical pain and emotional stress he had to live with while struggling to find answers was unimaginable. Watching your parent go from being completely able-bodied to sick and unable to care for himself in just 6 months is something I cannot put into words. Perhaps the most frightening part of this whole experience was that he was misdiagnosed multiple times, thus delaying potential treatments that could have saved his life. The lack of knowledge and understanding of myositis in the medical community is detrimental and, quite frankly, unacceptable. I wish simply to shed light on what needs to be changed in order to prevent others from experiencing the pain my dad endured. I do not say this with anger nor resentment, but rather passion and love in honor of my dad, Robert Landman. Although it saddens my family and I deeply to know he had so much more of his life to live, it gives us happiness to know his story can help others." We at MSU know that nothing can take away the pain of losing a loved one, but know that the impact you are having on others will lend comfort because you are creating Bob's legacy of care and hope for countless myositis patients and families. We certainly look forward to future Empower Walks. If you are interested in hosting an Empower Walk or Empower Run 5K in your city, please let us know so that we can help. The scientific and medical communities, along with the pharmaceutical industry, continue to make progress, but there are unfortunate known complications with myositis that contribute to the untimely death of patients. The study of autoantibodies in myositis is promising and may help diagnose, predict complications, and even determine treatment options. Complications can include things like infections, cancers, pulmonary complications such as interstitial lung disease, and complications associated with dysphagia, such as choking and aspiration, which can lead to dangerous pneumonias. Obtaining a quick diagnosis can help to improve outcomes for many patients. And while we have come a long way in being able to diagnose myositis, it still takes on average 3.5 years with a handful of doctors involved, and many patients are misdiagnosed. During those years, patients remain mis- or undiagnosed. This group of rare autoimmune diseases has a chance to continue wreaking havoc, causing damage to the muscles, skin, lungs, and other organs of the body. It may not seem like it to patients and families who suffer day in and day out, but there are many exciting things happening for myositis, with clinical trials, research, and the release of new diagnostic and clinical trial criteria. The losses we have experienced can teach us many things, and those of us still here can make our voices heard on behalf of our loved ones who we have lost. And in hoping for better treatments, we, as patients, need to become more involved. Rare disease patients can be difficult to find to enroll in clinical trials, and at MSU, we are forming partnerships with pharmaceutical companies to help recruit patients for these important studies. Eddie Kuhn. Eddie was diagnosed 3 years ago with inclusion body myositis, but they said he had probably had it for 10 or 15 years. Right after Christmas, he started falling and has been in a wheelchair ever since. He had a great attitude and was always researching and coming up with ways to overcome his shortcomings, and most were successful. We contacted hospice and have had them for a couple of months, and they have been wonderful. He aspirated some cereal 2 days ago, and hospice put him on oxygen and a nebulizer, which seemed to be helping, although his appetite has waned and dysphagia was a problem. He fought a good fight, but this morning he passed unexpectedly. I am numb, but he is now relieved from this horrible disease. God bless all of you still in the fight, and the wives and families who watch over them. William F. McCourt. William McCourt was a wonderful grandfather who never let the slow progression of inclusion body myositis get him down. He was an avid stamp collector and a great cook. There are many others who have passed away with myositis. To protect the privacy of families, we only include those who have provided us with the permission to do so. From the entire volunteer family at MSU, we thank you for spending time with us today honoring and remembering those we have lost, and we send loving thoughts of comfort to you. If you are interested in helping us continue the work we do, please consider making a donation in honor or in memory of your loved one. And learn more about myositis and ways to get involved at understandingmyositis.org and share your experiences at myositislife.org.